Hey everybody, we're live for a best of one draft today. Was having a little bit of microphone trouble with my earbuds, so we're going to go off of Bluetooth today. Hopefully the sound quality is still okay. And let's dive in. I've done 2 drafts of this format so far, gone 3 and 3 and 5 and 3. 3 and 3 with a blue-red Spells Matter deck, and 5 and 3 with what I would call kind of a medium strength black-green deck that was mainly just playing kind of value cards. It was kind of a mid-rangey deck. I was pretty happy with it finishing 5 and 3. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here. We've got a Vivi in our number 1 rare spot there. Vivi is super high in demand paper card. And a lot of people are building things around it, but I haven't tried it in limited yet. I've played against it a couple of times, and I think it has some promise. It's definitely worth consideration. Summon Brynhildr, exile the top card of your library and basically play it the entire time that you have Brynhildr on the board, and then creatures get haste. Other things in consideration here, Cactuar is, I think, a really good green tempo card. Garland is great in the black-red deck, and so is Sephiroth, the Sephiroth's intervention, although I'd probably rather have cheaper removal. I think I'm actually going to take Garland here because I have a leaning toward black-red right now in the format, and I need to be convinced off of that. I've had a lot of success with black-red in paper. And so because of that, I give attention to the rare red land here. 2 in a red to create just a wizard token, which seems like not a lot for that 2 in a red. But it is at instant speed, and you are then casting a non-creature spell. And what you want when you're going red-black and you're playing around with wizards, which Garland definitely wants you to do, it's keying off of non-creature spells and smooths out your draws. You may never use that 7-mana ability, and it doesn't matter. Garland is still a great card, 3/2 for 2 that surveils often. You want as many non-creature spells that make wizards as you can possibly get, because then you make wizards, you trigger other wizards, you ping for 1,000,000, and that's the goal. We're going to hope that Haste Magic wheels here, because it is great to have a copy of Haste Magic in those kind of decks. Suplex catches my attention right away. It's the kind of cheap removal that you want in a black-red spells deck. You do not want Random Encounter because you're trying to get your creatures off of non-creature cards that create creatures. Random Encounter is something that would be better for like kind of a red-green stompy, barf out a bunch of big creatures type of thing. You have a bunch of expensive rares. Lightning Lone Commando, the special version of Lightning here that's really Ishin. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, forces you to play with white mana. It's not really what we're trying to do here, so we're just going to take the red removal spell. We have another Suplex. We have the Final Days, which creates tokens. And flashes back based on the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Now, 4 mana for 2 2/2s is not terrible. The fact that they're tapped is an issue. You're not blocking with them the first turn you create them. And in the spells deck, or I should say in a black-red spells deck, which is what I'm trying to aim for here, you're not going to have that many creature cards. So your flashback's going to be pretty terrible, which is a large part of the value of this card. This is really good in green-black or even black-blue, really any of the Sultai colors where you're going to fill your graveyard with stuff. Probably best in black-green. I'm just going to be very satisfied to take another Suplex. Hecdize is not really the kind of creature we want to be playing in this version of the deck. We have Dark Confidant, which helps us draw, and Dark Confidant is a wizard. So if you think about things like the 4 mana black Circle of Power, I think, spell that gives all your wizards +1 +0 and lifelink and creates a wizard and does 7 more things, um, yeah, then it is a wizard, um, and that's fine. But Gaius Van Belsar is a sweet card. I've been coming up and up on this card because it's so modal. You're playing a 3/2. It functions also as a removal spell. I think we're going to take that as a creature plus removal. This would be like a rare creature we'd be happy to play. What we're looking for is things like, we're looking for Black Mage's Rods, we're looking for surrounded by, what is that, the one black edict that makes a wizard surrounded by something. Self-destruct is great because it will trigger your stuff, and then you can often just do direct damage to your opponent's face. It's a good finisher. I like that better than the Ifrit here. It's interesting because in this deck you would much rather have sagas that are just sagas, because then they're non-creature spells. Like, you'd like a saga that comes in and makes a creature, not is a creature itself. But we'll take self-destruct, and there we go. This is exactly what we would like to see. We would hope that by taking a lot of these cards we kind of push other people off of red-black. Red Mage's Rapier is not a terrible card to have in the deck. It's a wizard that's a 3/1, it just doesn't ping. So Black Mage's Rod, that's exactly the kind of card we want to see here at pick 7. Lots of colors still available in pick 7. Balaam T-Rex Ard suggests that green has some openness. This is a great blue card. Nobody is playing towns potentially. Like, a lot of stuff seems open. It'll be interesting. And there is the card we're looking. That's the one I was talking about. Cornered by Black Mages. This is an awesome card to get on pick 8. Like, that, we are getting the pieces that we want. And now we look at what's coming to us on the wheel. Gigantode is kind of like a whatever 4/4. It really wants ramp. It's good in the Towns deck as just a body. Cactuar is sweet if you're playing any kind of proactive green. Resentful Revelation. Look at the top 3, put 1 in our hand. That's a great card for us. It's a non-creature spell that allows us to refuel, and we can play it with flashback even though it's expensive. And then once we get here, we don't really get any cards that we care about. We're not playing towns, obviously. In fact, we'd be fine having no towns in our deck, maybe 1 red-black town. None of the rest of this suits us. You can see that clearly nobody's playing the towns deck. We just take the colorless card. Same thing here. We're not really interested in splashing any of these cards. Quick Earn Merchant wants to play cards, or wants to play the towns deck. We'll just take the colorless card. And here, we could take Hecdies, but we'd rather be doing things like Black Mage's Rod in the 2 spot. So we're going to take the green-red town in case we get like a really good green rare that we like, and whatever. We'll let the green player have the green card and be even more firmly set into green. Any comments or questions, of course, along the way, feel free to drop those into chat. I will check it every so often. The rare is white and wants you to play a lot of clerics and be pretty close to mono white. Grahatia, 3/5 reach. You draw a card when things die. That's particularly good if you have treasures, by the way, because treasures are artifacts dying under your control. This is pretty good in white-red, actually, as well as in the artifact decks. We don't want Poison the Waters because it potentially kills our stuff. We can take another self-destruct, which I'm totally fine with at this point. There's also the blue-red land, which that's the #1 other color that we might like to touch in a deck like this. Rauban, it wants to play in equipment decks. It's not a terrible card to play in the deck we're putting together because it allows you to, for example, attach Black Mage's Rod to something else, and then that lets you ping even if they've killed the hero. We don't really need another Gaius, but Queen Brane is a card that makes a wizard, 2/1 with prowess, and she makes a wizard anytime she attacks. So you can attack, and then, surprise, surprise, she's a 3/2 or she's a 4/3 because you're casting spells. It's a card that I can see cutting from a deck like this, actually. It's not super important, but it definitely fits our plan. Here we love to see Black Waltz number 3. This is the absolute definition of a glass cannon. Definitely fits the glass cannon, matches the glass cannon aspect of black mages in Final Fantasy, where they can do massive amounts of damage and cast Fire 2 on your face, and but then they take one hit from an ogre and they die or something like that. But you don't want to overload with these, but having one can put a lot of pressure on because it pings for 2 instead of for 1. But very subject to cheap removal is the problem with this card. You'd like to be able to protect it, and this deck is not about protecting your stuff. It's about just dealing damage. Undercity Dire Rat dies and makes a treasure. It's fine. The Relentless Robot Spider, not what we're looking for. You might look at, do we want to splash here? Saj's Chocobo at pick 4. I mean, whoever's playing green should rejoice at seeing this card that late. This makes a legendary. Again, it's kind of whatever. I think I'm just going to take the rat, have a 2-drop, be able to play something on 2. Okay, this is great. This is to me, this is the second most important removal spell in this deck, behind Cornered by Black Mages, and it's only behind that because Cornered by Black Mages is an edict. They have to sacrifice a creature, and it makes them create a wizard. I actually would I had a paper deck where I had 4 Veins. This was during pre-release weekend. It was a win-a-box draft, and I had 4 Veins Treacheries and 2 or 3 Cornered by Black Mages. It was obnoxious, and it was great. Exactly what I wanted. But I would be totally fine having 2 or 3 of each of these. They're the removal spells that you want, because you're going to have a lot of little trinkety stuff. You're going to sacrifice a hero that you created somewhere, and you give something -6, -6, and cheap removal. It's super great. Black-red land, haste magic, red mage's rapier, and I think we're going to take the rapier here to get another cheap creature. Here we would much rather have the second Black Waltz's number 3 than the additional red mage's rapier, because red mage's rapier, we would like to get enough density in our deck that we cut it. Because it makes a wizard, but not a wizard that pings you. It's more of an attacking wizard. And here we get a third Black Mage's Waltz number 3, but this is where you don't want to be playing 87 4-drops in your deck. And this card right here is awesome in this black-red deck. It might be one of the best homes in the format for it. Promise Fulfilled, exile top 2 cards until the end of your next turn. It's got the good text on it, and it's got Spectacle for just 1 red. And you're going to be able to very often play that card for its Spectacle cost after you've pinged in the turn. Let's see here. We're going to just take a Hecdize and dump it and hope to not play it. Here we'll take yeah, that's cute. I think we'll take it just to fill up our vault a little bit. Fourier destroys something that was dealt damage, exiles from a graveyard, whatever. Item Shopkeep is probably more likely to be played by us, because we don't want to use that creature as a only sometimes removal spell. We'll take the Cycling card just because, probably won't play it, and we'll let the player playing white have whatever they want. And we end up, look at that, that's great. We end up accidentally getting a black-red land. That's kind of the way that you want that to go, and where you accidentally end up with one that you didn't have to fight for. All right, 2 red-blue rares. We have Vivi that loves non-creature spells. We have 10 of those and are probably going to end up with more. We have Tella that makes a hero and draws 2 cards, but see, it has the big mana text. 4 or more mana, 8 or more mana. You want things like Thunder Magic and Ice Magic that you can ramp up to 4 or 8 very easily. Overkill is awesome. Another great cheap removal spell. I think we're going to take Vivi here and speculate on it a little bit. There's also Thrum. There's Lightning Bolt sitting there. I probably should have taken that card. But we'll speculate on Vivi. We'll see if we can touch blue. Here's a black-blue land that we could take. But we're going to be fine if we get a deck that doesn't require playing Vivi. It's totally fine. And that's why I probably should have taken the Lightning Bolt as additional cheap removal. I mean, 1 mana, deal 3 to anything, obviously, like, great. We'll take an additional corner by Black Mages here. We're not worried about our creature count when we have spells that can create little wizards that ping our opponent. We're not going to try to win by attacking their face, except the card that we want to be on a lookout now is the 4 mana Circle of Power. We would really like to have like 2 of those so that we can turn our 0/1 wizards into like 1/1 or 2/1 attackers. Phantom Trade is a card that I like as like a 23rd card sometimes in these decks because it is a non-creature, and you can sack stuff to make it a 5/5 attacker with trample at minimum, and so it can be a late game plan. Although I've had lots of decks like this already in the format where I have Phantom Train in my deck and it's awkward in my hand. So this is a very, very cuttable card. Vincent's Limit Break doesn't play great in this kind of deck because so many of your creatures are like incidental tokens that are generated by things. We have a few creatures we might like to save a little bit, but here I actually think I'm going to take an Ifrit. It's not a non-creature card, but it does provide us some card filtering, which is something that you very much want. Especially because Black-Red doesn't come by it very easily. It's another reason Circle of Power is so good. Circle of Power's first text is lose 2 life and draw 2 cards, so you're getting to see through your deck, and it makes a wizard, and it gives all your wizards, you know, +1/+0 and lifelink. It's such a, that card just ties everything together. This is a tough choice between Black Mage's Rod and Vane's Treachery. I think I'm going to take the Black Mage's Rod. And now, you know, had I known I would have seen this, I would have taken the Treachery before it. I mean, but we've got Black Mage's Rod. I'm sorry, we've got 1 Vane's Treachery. We've got 2 Suplexes and 2 Self-Destructs. So we have a lot of cheap removal at the 2 spot. Vane's Treachery is awesome, but we're going to take another Rod here. We don't need to be playing Blitzball. That takes time and it's messing around. This is a you don't mess around deck. We don't need to be putting our commander into our hand for the command zone for free, but we do want to be destroying target creature and gaining 2 life. Pretty great. And now you start to see we're filling up the spots. Like, we're not going to need to play Vivi. We don't need to splash. We haven't been taking fixing for it. That would have become a lot more obvious as we went. You know, going back again, I would rather take Lightning Bolt now, but we're going to be fine on removal. We're doing really great on removal here. White, black land we don't need. Light of Judgment, deal 6 and destroying equipment. This is play only if you have to. We don't need to be milling in this deck and gaining 3 life. We'll take the extra removal just because. There we get the black-blue land. I don't want to play Sabotender. It wants to play landfall stuff, like it wants to be in kind of green-red. We'll take the black-blue land and ditch it away. Gold Saucer, whatever. We don't need this 2-drop. We don't need to gain 2 life. We'll just put the black creature in there. It's fine. We don't need the Mountain Cycler. We'll take the uncommon for the Vault. And we'll take the land. We'll let it. If somebody's playing green-white, we'll let them be happy. All right, so the deck has kind of built itself, and I find this very, you know, if the lane is open or even open-ish, this kind of just happens. Like, we have a 41-card deck right now. We don't need to be pulling any of these cards into our deck. And so if we look at how our deck sits here, you can look at our curve. Our curve is all at 2, 3, 4, and super heavy in 2. There's a couple of, let's see, what are the 1 mana? there's not even that many 1-mana cards that I want to have in a deck like this. You know, the little 1-mana dude that can blow himself up, the little 1-mana red bomb thing, bomby guy. It really only sacks itself to deal 1 damage to and it's to a creature, not to any target. So it's not, you know, I want to go to face with some of that incidental damage, and also it doesn't grow until you start spending 4 mana on spells. Like, this deck wants to win by turn 6 or 7, and it's very capable of doing that. This is really similar to a lot of decks that I've gotten along these lines. If you notice, please look through and see how many rares we aren't playing, because we aren't playing Vivi. So you can just ditch that, and then you look at what the other cards are that we're playing, and there aren't any rares in this deck. The deck that I had for that Win-a-Box draft absolutely crushed. It went 3-0, 6-0 during pre-release weekend. Only one of the games was close, and that was a game where I had to mulligan to 5. By the way, I had to mulligan my first 3 games out of the 6 games. I mulled to 6, mulled to 5, mulled to 6. Won all 3 games. This deck is very capable of that, because it can just win early, and it plays low curve, and your opponent doesn't want to use removal spells on your little 0/1 wizards, and doesn't have enough removal spells to take them all out anyway. The only rares that I had in that deck where I was splashing green for Genova, mainly as a card draw and a way of activating some of my little stuff to be able to annoyingly attack. However, I drew Genova exactly 1 time out of 6 games and never played her. So that tells you how important that card was to that deck. And then the other rare that I had was the reprint of Mizzix's Mastery, which plays great here, because you can go get your most important removal spell from your graveyard, and when you do that, you trigger the non-creature spell twice, because Mizzix lets you cast that spell for free. And I never got to live the dream of casting Mizzix's Mastery for 8 for its overload cost and bringing back all my non-creature spells. Well, I shouldn't say that. Bringing back all of my instants and sorceries from my graveyard, which, by the way, would make a bunch of wizards because of things like Cornered by Black Mages. The thing that this deck doesn't have that I would like to have is Circle of Power in black. That's what it's missing. So I'm rarely going to be able to attack with creatures in this deck. If I do, it's because I'm on curve. Black Mage's Rod makes 2/1s. That's nice. You might get a hint in or 2. If I look at cards that I would rather that are like cuttable from this deck, Undercity Dire Rat's cuttable. It doesn't fit the plan. Red Mage's Rapier is cuttable. It kind of fits the plan because it's a non-creature spell. Ifrit's cuttable. I'm not saying I'm going to cut them. I'm just saying that they're not essential to the deck. I'm listing the cards that are like cards 20 through 23 right now. Dire Rat, Rapier, Ifrit, Phantom Train. So if I'm looking at my sideboard, like, are there cards I would rather play besides those? You know, like Heck Dies, they discard a card, but it's a 1/1. It's not attacking. Like Dire Rat's going to be a better blocker. It's going to create a treasure token, and I have plenty of things I want to play on 4. So you have the potential of playing Dire Rat on 2, getting it dies, even if it doesn't kill in trade. It dies, makes a treasure, and maybe you're casting your 4-drop on 3. That's great. Love it. I don't need Light of Judgment. I have, if we go to this view and we start to move around, look at what the removal is that we have here. We have 2 Vane's Treacheries. We have 2 Self-Destructs. We have 2 Suplexes. We have 2 Cornered by Black Mages. Think we got enough removal? Like, we have plenty of removal. And 2 of those removal spells can go to face. 2 of them are utility, and we can get rid of an annoying artifact like a super important equipment or something, or some artifact creature if we face Azorius. Cornered by Black Mages is making more mages for us. So the other important thing to count in a deck like this, actually, is how many cards you have that make wizards that ping your opponent. In the best decks that I had like roughly 9. Like, I would like to have 10. I had like 8 or 9 very often, and if you look at what we have that makes that, we have 2 corner by black mages, 3 black mages rods. That's 5. Queen Brane makes one on attack. It doesn't make one immediately, so I'm going to count this as a half a wizard. Obviously, if you live the dream and you can attack with Queen Brane like turn after turn, it's great. It's just a generator. But I'll count that as a half a wizard because it doesn't immediately make it. Your opponent can do something about it. Just kill Queen Brane immediately, or maybe you're like stonewalled and you can't attack. And then Black Waltz number 3 is itself a wizard. So we have 3, 5, 7, 7.5. So we have less than I'd like. This is definitely less strong overall than the decks that I've most appreciated, but and done the best with. But we've got some of the tools, and believe it or not, you're going to be able to win a lot of games just by the fact that you have 2 puny creatures on the board. You keep killing all of their things. Every time you kill their thing, you ping them for 2, and all of a sudden they're at 6 life, and you attack with a 2/1. And games go like that. It'll happen. Garland is potentially a finisher in a bigger game. 5/5 flyers, nothing to sneeze at. Phantom Train's potentially a finisher. Yeah. So I don't have any of these other cards that I would rather play instead. Heck Dies is a less good blocker, and the discard is not worth the exchange there. Foyer, I don't need more removal, and I don't really want to be playing a 3/2 for 3 that doesn't ping. Item Shopkeep matters if you want to attack, giving your stuff menace. So yeah, we're ready to go. We cut Vivi. We took it on a speculation. If we didn't have Vivi, we'd have a Lightning Bolt. We would probably cut a suplex for that Lightning Bolt. Have a cheaper removal spell that deals 3 and can go to face. So there we have it. We've got our draft deck. Let's play it and see how it does. Every version of this deck that I've seen, that both that I've played and that I have played against, is very capable of absolutely steamrolling the opponent very, very quickly. So it was my favorite deck that I wanted to draft going into the format, and it still is. I haven't checked the stats yet. We could maybe do that after our first game. Check 17 lands and see what the early win rates are like for black-red. But you do have to build it in a pretty particular way. Like, there are key cards. This will be an interesting experiment to see can this deck win and how well can it win without Circle of Power. We're going to play a Black Mage's Rod right away and get it on board. Starting to plan our next turn. We would love it if our opponent just plays a 2-drop and then we use a suplex to... Yeah, that's great. Okay. Whenever it deals combat damage, it's not going to get a chance to deal combat damage because it is going to die. And we want to kill it because it has menace, and we do not want to block with our wizards. We want to avoid that at all costs. We want to block with things like Dire Rat, or we did not get any, and I don't think we even saw any of the 1/3 3-mana red creatures, the wizard that makes a 0/1 when it comes in. That card is not amazing. It's a cuttable card. It's a mediocre card in this deck, but it does make a wizard, and the nice thing about the 1/3 is it can chump and die and block, and we don't care. It's not doing the plan. So we're just going to kill their thing. We don't want to destroy our own creatures, and we don't want to play this as a land. Make a creature. Yeah, I think we want to go like this. And we're just going to do suplex, and we're going to kill their thing. We're going to ping them. We're going to deal 2 damage, and we have a 3 damage turn. And we don't really mind next turn if we don't draw another land. If we draw another land, we could play Black Waltz as number 3. By the way, there you go. That sword is a great target for Suplex's destroy target artifact ability. Okay, now we have choices. I would love to be able to play this instant for 3. If we'd have played the tap land last turn, then we would have had 4 mana and we could have double spelled on this turn, so that's not the greatest ever. But we can always -2/-2 them. I think I'm going to let them attack me for 4 so that I can start double pinging. I'm going to ping them for 1 off of this, make an annoying 0/1. Oh, gosh. That's terrible. That's terrible. I should have just done that. No, we did need to kill their creature last turn, but I'm so not used to adventures being on lands yet. That's just a mistake. Now, see, you might think, oh, do you want to attack in? Because they don't want to block with their 4/1. They absolutely want to block with their 4/1 here, if they're smart, because they remove our wizards. Our wizards are the key to success. We would like to hold Black Waltz number 3 in our hand and play it like on a later turn, maybe turn 6, when we can play it and immediately play a 2-mana non-creature spell and ping for 2 so that we get additional value. All right, let's see. That is bad for us. Eject is great. So we're going to have to sack something here with Vane's Treachery. I think what we're going to do is we're going to play... Oh, we only have 1 black mana too. That is very bad. Very, very bad. We might... let's see. I think we're going to sack the hero using Vane's Treachery to give this -6/-6. Yeah. Oh, actually... Yeah, I don't think we can double these up. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that. This is not a great play, but we need this to die. We're going to sack that. Because it's the equipment in Black Mage's Rod. It's the equipment that does the pinging. And not the creature. We can always equip this for 3 later and resume the pinging. In fact, if you equip a wizard with that... Oh, that's not great. Back it comes. That's a really good black reanimation spell. Causes problems. We would love to draw Sephiroth's Intervention next turn. Love to draw it, because that's going to transform into a 9/9 with Menace that causes us to discard, them draw, and eventually sacks our stuff. So, yeah, we're going to have to use our life total here. We need some unconditional removal here. Okay, Black Mage's Rod. That is not great, because we cannot block Ject for value. Although we could, well, if they have removal, we're in trouble. We could play Black Waltz number 2 and then block with 2 creatures. Black Waltz number 2 has Death Touch. And that's probably what we need to do. In fact, yeah, we could even let that damage through, because we could play Self-Destruct and deal the Death Touch damage. Because it's the creature that deals the damage, which means Death Touch applies. Yeah, that's not good. Not good. Not good. They're going to attack and they're going to transform. And we are unfortunately going to need to use our wizard to chump block here, because we're going to take 6. And that 6 is going to be... And it's going to get even worse. Yep, we are going to die. Good game. Nicely done. So looking back, would have been nice to still have that suplex to deal with the 4/3, and then be able to -6/-6 after they came in with the 6/5. I'll look back at that. Oh, I said we were going to check 17 lands. Let me go do that right now. I would like to look back at that game. I may have had a misplay or two that having to do with the sequencing of my cards and my lands there. All right. I'm checking 17 lands right now. And let's see. I'm not... Oh, let's see here. I know this is great. This is great content for streaming, isn't it? But all I'm doing is checking the deck color data, and I want to see where we are after one day with black, red, Rakdos. Rakdos's win rate is terrible so far. It is 52.9%. It is the lowest win rate out of all of the decks, and that really surprises me. That actually suggests to me that this is being misbuilt a lot of the time. Because I've only seen success on my side and across the table with this deck. Granted in paper, so it's in pod drafting and it's best of 3, but I actually think that it should do better in best of 1 than best of 3 because your opponent doesn't have a chance to prepare for its kind of aggro ping plan. So far, the blue color pairs are doing very well. Azorius 57.9% and Dimir 54. It's not amazing. The two color decks are at about 56% win rate on 17 lands. So 54. Dimir is beneath that. Azorius is above it at 57.9. Gruul is above it at 57.4. Izzet 58. And Boros at 56. Still pretty close though. All right, this is a keep. We can play Red Mage's Rapier for a creature on 2. We've got Revelation to get more cards, including lands. We've got Treachery and Suplex. And we've got a turn 3 play in that if we can do damage to them or ping them on turn 3, then we can play a 2-drop and play Spectacle for 1 and draw 2 more cards. We would love to do that. Love it. Alright, totally fine. We're on the play. We get to play Rapier. Awesome. Cool little Rapier. Look at that. Oh, that's neat. That has 2 cool Rapier animations there. I like both of those. What's this dude do for us over here? He breathes fire and fire comes out of his spellbook or something. He's very inanimate. Alright, Emperor. Oh, I wish we had. I wish our third land was black. See, that's the ideal situation. Your third land is black. You play it. You play cornered by black mages. They sacrifice their only thing. You're very happy. But we can still. We're going to be able to do damage this turn, right? Because we're going to cast. Actually, we're going to do a lot of damage because we're going to cast 2 non-creature spells this turn. We are going to play a mountain. And then we're going to play Suplex, because we'd rather keep Vane's Treachery to be able to kill something bigger. We're going to take Suplex. We're going to deal 3 damage to this creature, giving us +2/+0. And then we're going to... our opponent is going to lose life. And then we're going to... It's too bad we couldn't cast that before and make this a 5/1 before. But, you know, drawing 2 cards is sweet. Next turn we play... next turn we play the Swamp and Black Waltz number 3, just so that we can play the cards. Because Cornered by Black Mages doesn't help us right now anyway, right? See that? So, it's fine. We'll play this, and we'll play this, and then we will sit. Don't mind me while I munch some cucumber. Well, let's hope that the pause is telling us that they do not have removal for Black Waltz number 3. I want to emphasize that Black Waltz number 3, they do have removal. See, that's the problem with the card. I want to emphasize that Black Waltz number 3 is not essential for this deck. And that's exactly why. 4 mana removed by 1 mana removal spell. Not great. It's a card that you play when you don't have other things to be able to put in there, like I need Wizard, I need Ping. And that's what you just saw is exactly why you don't want to play it on 4. But we play it because we lose the card otherwise. I mean, we could have played, you know, we could have double spelled. But what we're going to do now, I think, We're going to play Black Mage's Rod, and then we're going to attack. They can't equip cargo ship. We want to save Vane's Treachery here. So we're going to play Black Mage's Rod. Maybe should have played Revelation first to see the card, but it probably would not have affected our plays here. We're going to ping. We're going to look at which of these cards we want in our hand. There shouldn't be any question about that. You want to free because it's going to continue to, it's going to rummage for you, and it's going to be a creature and a threat on board. We already have double black that we need. So we're going to take a Freet into our hand, put that stuff in our graveyard. We don't care. We attack for 5. You can see why Red Mage's Rapier is a totally fine card to have in here. It's a better early attacker than any of your other cards. And right now, we've done 8 damage with this card. 8 of the 9 damage we've done has been because of Red Mage's Rapier. And so now they have to hold back the 0/1, right? It's a problem. Let's see. We can make a wizard triggering our ping once and our non-creature once. And we can... let's see. They're going to want to equip our cargo ship, potentially. Aren't they? But they're also going to be content to block our stuff. I think we're going to let them commit more to the board, and we're going to get ourselves to a place where we're at 5 lands so that we can effectively double spell next turn. Are they going to counter our spell? Play land. 5 mana next turn. One of our 3 mana plays plus our 2 mana play. Or if we draw a land, we can double spell just about anything. We don't want to attack with the 2/1 because they can just block us for value. I think we're going to set. If we attack, we only attack with the 3/1 there. If I were them, I would just block it with the 1/1. You can always play something later that can equip the cargo ship. And they play nothing. What are they holding up for? Eject, maybe? Syncopate, maybe? Lots of instant speed blue stuff. Even Light of Judgment. I mean, they could have lots of stuff. But let's play some cards. We got the 6th land that we wanted, so we have lots of options here. We probably want to play a Freet on a later turn when we have another land in our hand that we don't really need anymore. I think we're going to make them make a decision. Make another wizard that gives us 3 wizards on board for any of our non-creature spells. That's nice. Do you see what I mean now about this game is going a lot more like we're used to with this kind of a thing. We could attack. See, if we Vane's Treachery his 1/1, then he just crews the cargo ship. I think we're going to play the Queen. This will tell us if they have a counter spell. We're totally fine if they counter the Queen here. Like, the Queen is kind of cherry on top at this point. Yep, awesome. Wonderful. If the Queen lives, then it makes wizards next turn. If the Queen doesn't live, then they've used their counter spell on one of our creature spells, not our non-creature spells. We're very well set up. We've got removal for one of their most, one of their most annoying things. We're pinging for 3 on every non-creature spell right now. And you can see, like, if you were on the other side of the table, would you want to use your, like, I don't know, your, yeah, okay. So they eject. And and they draw a card, but what did they just put back in my hand? They just put a hero back in my hand. Who cares? It doesn't matter, right? So now, what do? We play a Freet. Got another counter spell over there. What do you got? Okay. Discard a card, draw a card. Great. We will discard the mountain. We will discard the mountain. Give me just a moment. Somebody is at my door. I don't know how to do that. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. We didn't miss anything. We discarded a mountain, we drew a mountain. We will play the mountain. We are not going to attack this turn. So what we are going to do is we are going to make ourselves able to ping from anywhere, like right here. If they give us a window next turn, then we play Vane's Treachery and we can attack for lethal. If they don't give us a window next turn, we can play the flashback version of Resentful Revelation, ping them for 3, and reload. Any of the card draw spells that have flashback are good to have in the deck. This is a great home actually for Laughing Mad, the 3-mana instant that is basically Tormenting Voice. Discard a card to draw 2 cards. Because it flashes back for really cheap costs. It flashes back for 4. I had so many games where I had just even one copy of Laughing Mad. Being able to do that twice in a game, and you cast it, it's a non-creature spell, you draw more cards, you draw into more non-creature spells, you play them, you're pinging them for 2, you're pinging them for 3. And this is always a good sign when the opponent's best play is to pay 4 mana to surveil and draw a card. They are trying to draw into answers. All right. We do not want to discard a card. Thank you very much. What we would like to do is we would like to hopefully win the game. All right. Here's the plan. We're going to Vane's Treachery on their 1/1. They're likely to crew the cargo ship. And then we're going to self-destruct. Actually, can we just win the game with self-destruct? I think we can win the game with self-destruct. Why am I overthinking this? We're going to do that. They're going to crew the cargo ship. We're pinging them for 3 right now, right? 1, 2, 3. We got 3 pings on the stack. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry about your loss of life. And then we just win the game, right? because now we go like this, and we say, what? I'm going to target this creature, and I'm going to deal a lot of damage to your face, and I'm going to ping you for 1,000,000 in the meantime, right? Good game. Don't overthink it. That's one of the reasons self-destruct is great. Self-destruct in particular plays very nicely with Red Mage's Rapier because you immediately increase the power of the creature. All right. So, got a good win. That's what that deck's supposed to do. And that wasn't even the cleanest route to it happening either. But you can see that if the opponent stumbles a little, and our opponent stumbled a lot, I mean, or at least didn't have any good answers in hand, then it can start to snowball really quickly. Like that last turn. I mean, we dealt 6 damage on pings and then 5 damage to face with self-destruct. We're dealing 11 on what turn? What was that, 7? Okay. Tap land on 1. Fine, we don't have anything to play on 1 anyway. We play the mountain on 2. You can play Dire Rat. You have Treachery. You can play make the wizard on 3. Cool. Great. You can think of Lindblom as play a tapped mountain, create a wizard. You're paying 3, obviously. It's not cheap to do that, but that's kind of what's contained in the card. Another way you can think of it is pay 3, go get a tapped mountain from your deck, and make a wizard. And trigger all your non-creature stuff, which is very important. Hey, I tell you what, you play a Dire Rat, we play a Dire Rat. They are blue-black. Am I more interested in them having the fact that they're touching black at all? They're more likely to have graveyard shenanigans than I am. I'm more than happy to use my life total. I may want this as a blocker for something else later anyway. Plus, they now have, if it has deals combat damage, draw a card, so it puts pressure on us with the 2/2. Bane's Treachery kills this, but it's fine. We let the Dire Rat through and we kill this thing. If they kill our creature, we have an issue. I would rather play this when we already have another creature on the board. What's our efficient way of playing 3 mana here? I don't know that we necessarily have a super efficient way. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet. They might get a card out of this, but we're going to do that first. Set up our next land drop. Hope that they can't remove our rat, and we can just block their Thief's Knife with the rat. They might. They could technically re-equip it. But take the damage from the rat. Kill the creature with the knife. They have to re-equip for 4. Hopefully they have a better plan on turn 4 than that. Okay. Create a copy. I mean, pay 4 mana to get a 3 mana spell. I'm good. That's fine. Play the land out of exile. Okay. Lots of 2 mana plays. We want to save our unconditional removal. We can use the treasure, and I plan to do that. Like double spelling here is a good idea. I think we play Garland. And then we play the Black Mage's Rod, being totally happy with blocking their 2/2 with our 2/1. Because we can surveil and hopefully get our next land drop out of that. We have plenty of things to play, and we have card draw, plenty of things to play. So we don't mind using the treasure here. Remember, our curve is 2, 3, 4, right? Now, here's a perfect example, right? You don't need Phantom Train here. Like, we want another land more than we want Phantom Train at this point. We want to be able to double spell and play lots of non-creature spells. So knowing ahead of time that Phantom Train is like our 23rd card, 20 through 23rd card, you can know how much you value the cards in your deck. Which ones do you really need? We would like a non-creature spell or a land more than we would like this card, so we pitch it, right? Take the damage from the rat, not allow them to draw a card. Even though we lose an ability to ping here, it's okay, because we can re-equip that later. Alright, they've got a flyer. That's a good target for a cheap removal spell, like, for example, Vane's Treachery. Although, see, they've got this equipment, and wouldn't you love it if they would equip, like, the Thief's Knife to their Ahriman and think, I get to get in for free, and the answer is, you are wrong, you do not get to get in for free. Now we're a little awkward, because we can summon the Ifrit for 3, hold up Vane's Treachery. We could also equip, but we're not going to attack into the Death Toucher. So we're going to play the land. We're going to summon the Ifrit. Please remember that you don't have to discard a card to draw a card. It's not required. And I don't want to this turn. I like all the cards in my hand. All of them. You may discard a card, or you may not. See, I could have played Treachery and eliminated Ahriman and done, what, 3 damage here? Actually, 4 because of the ping, but I'm going to get the ping regardless. But what I want to see is if my opponent wants to take those 2 equipments that they played and equip one of them to the Ahriman for 4, they might still have like a counter spell, but now they've used all their blue mana. This is just the dream situation, right? Dream situation. You don't even need to kick it. You just kill the thing, right? And then you ping them, and you see your Black Mage's Rod coming next turn. It's just awesome. And they've wasted all, you just time walked them, right? And you got all kinds of value at the same time. I also don't want to discard a card. I've got card draw in my hand. I'm not worried about it. Okay. See, we are fine trading the Ifrit and getting the rat out of there at this point. We want to ping them first so that we can play Promise Fulfilled for 1. We might be able to triple spell this turn. There's an off chance if we draw a 2 mana spell. Okay, we don't need that land. To the graveyard you go. Look at, see Garland's Surveil? I'm telling you, Garland just sitting on the board. You don't ever need to use its 7 mana ability. It's like, Garland is fine. And it's a 3/2 blocker when you need it. Okay, so now we can play Spectacle because our opponent has lost life, right? We want to do that pre-combat. We get a couple of pings in. That's great. We look at our cards. We do not want a mountain. Thank you very much. Okay, and we would like to see 2 cards, which we can cast until the end of our next turn. So we play the Swamp out of exile. Oh my gosh, now we can equip, right? And so we're going to wait to equip until we see how our opponent handles combat. We're going to attack with the Ifrit to remove the blocker. That gives them one less thing to equip their equipment on, right? And then we'll just equip the Black Mage's Rod onto Garland, so that we have all 3 of our creatures are pinging. Opponent's board is empty. What do they have removal on? Oh, okay, they've got their Dark Knight's Greatsword. Good, would be a great time for us to draw Suplex. We would really like, well, what are you? 2/3 Boast. 2/3 Death Touch Boast with go get whatever you want for next turn. I'm not super interested in that. I don't need this Black Waltz number 2. It's card. We're losing card advantage by doing this, but I actually think that it's more important. It's tough. What we really wanted to draw was we wanted to draw a 2-mana removal spell. Like the perfect card would have been Suplex for any of this stuff. We have two of them. We currently have a 10% chance of drawing one, actually. But they can boast and go get whatever card they want when they attack. I almost want to use intervention on this, but I think we're just going to go put more pressure on. They don't get the card in hand immediately. They get it on top. So we know... we're just going to sit. We ping for 5 on every non-creature spell now. That's a lot of pressure. Next turn, if we draw Suplex or Self-Destruct or Vane's Treachery or any of our good removal spells, we are killing it because we play a second Black Waltz number. Black Waltz number 3 is legendary too. That's also a reason you don't want 3 in your deck. Legendary creature. Okay, so now you're going to attack. Do you have a way of making yourself... I don't understand. Are there shenanigans here? We both death touch each other into oblivion. Awesome. That's great. You play your tapped creature, which I don't care about. Okay. Now what? We can attack with the 2/1 because we can just re-equip. Like, that's kind of free damage. Because we don't care about them swinging in with the 4/1 or even the 3/3. Like, they're not playing black-green. They're not pumping their creatures. We don't really care about that. We play the mountain. We get in the free attack here. Because at this point, we want to play small game with them. Like, we can just re-equip. That was just a hero. We can now play a Black Mage's Rod and re-equip, right? Yeah. Play Black Mage's Rod. And then, well, I don't know. Let's make our wizard actually able to do something. That wizard now pings for 2. So we've just made this wizard like a huge target. It pings for 2 every time, just like Black Waltz number 3. All right, 5. They get the top 5 cards of their library, and those cards are Sir Conrad, very good, and Black Mage's Rod. Okay, so they put a card in the bottom of your opponent's library. Then they put one into their hand. 3/3 flyer. Do I care about Black Mage's Rod for them? I don't care. Put that on the bottom of your library. Then you pick one. Then I put a swamp there. Then you draw a swamp. So they get that card is Memories Returning as we're picking teams for our we're playing pickup basketball and we're picking teams. I get 3 players to your 2 and I get first pick. Right? Okay. Equip the Greatsword. Deal 6. I think I'm willing to take that for a turn. I have removal, and I have so much more removal left in my deck, too. Like, if we draw Gaius Van Belsar, we say sacrifice a non-token creature, and then CF dies, and they have to re-equip. I think I'm okay taking that damage. I don't really want to trade off any of our pinging. And now, look, this is so awesome. We want to save Sephiroth's intervention for Golbez. Their Sir Conrad dude, because that needs to just die. That needs to not sit on the board and give them value. But we play Red Mage's Rapier here. Everything triggers. We deal 5 to their face. Look at that. Actually, we win. Right? We win? Just happen again. We're going to win out of nowhere again. They have 1 blocker. They have 1 black mana. Black mana, one black mana instant spells do not exist in this format. So we attack with the team. We actually don't even need to. We attack with Black Waltz. We just remove their creature. We deal them 1,000,000 damage. We win. We win the game. Awesome. See why it was good to not block the Shambling Seath, even though it did 6 to us? We get self-destruct. That's like overkill. Good game. Attack with the team. Win. Once again, 5 damage from ping, 5 damage from ping. What was that? Like 7 damage from creatures. It's, I'm telling you, folks, it's a really fun deck. It's really, really fun. I thoroughly enjoy playing it. And I probably will throughout the format, at least as long as I can end up in a draft where I can get the cards. All right. Those of you that watched before know that I'm a teacher, and this is my lunch break. So my lunch break has ended. I'm going to pause there with us with a record of 2-1 with this deck, but I will come back and stream the rest of this run later today, and my guess is going to be 9:30 p.m. Central tonight. Oh, good luck. Thank you very much. Any comments on what you saw so far? While you're thinking or typing, I'll probably stream the rest at 9:30 Central tonight. I'll actually schedule it on Twitch so that it's there for give others more advance warning. I kind of spontaneously decided to stream this. Out of curiosity, while I'm waiting, in case something gets typed there, I'm gonna go to 17 lands, and I'm gonna look at the top commons early, and I'll tell you which cards I listed as top commons. What I predict is top common. Well, White Orosite is the top white common, and that is the one that I predicted as the top white common. Dragoon's Wyvern is currently narrowly leading, but it and Sahagin and Ice Magic and Combat Tutorial are all within 0.4 percentage points of each other. And I chose Ice Magic as the top blue common. Sephiroth's Intervention is the top black common, less than a percentage point above Cornered by Black Mages. I think that I chose Vane's Treachery. It's not that far behind, but I'm kind of surprised about that. I wonder if that's going to shift. I mean, Sephiroth's is unconditional removal, but it costs 4 mana. The life gain's very helpful. Probably helps in other decks, but Vane's Treachery is so cheap. Thunder Magic is winning far and away in red. I also chose that, and I think I chose Suplex as number 2, maybe. And Town Greeter and Summon Fat Chocobo are winning in green, and I chose those as well. So far, so good with my predictions. The top uncommon right now is Cloud of Darkness, the 2 black green 3/3 flying that gives -X/-X. That's what I chose as the top uncommon in the format. That's what I picked. And let's see about rares. What's the top rare? Arden the Usurper's top rare. Saj Katzroy is tied with it. Dion Bahamut's Dominant is third. I think I chose Dion as my top rare, non-mythic rare. So anyway, that's interesting. All right, enough for now. Thanks for watching. If you want to see the rest of this run, join me at 9:30 Central tonight.